Well, it's day 3 on the Camino Lebaniego, and after a great campsite about 1 kilometer before Cabañas, we got up really early in the dark, and when we walked through Cabañas, a little bit muddy here, when we walked through Cabañas, it was still dark, so nothing to report about that town, but we wanted to get an early start because we're trying to get to the noon mass at Santo Toribio. Apparently they have a mass for pilgrims, and so we needed to start really early to make sure that we get there in time for that. Hopefully that will actually happen. And we had a lovely sunrise time, but now we've kind of had a fog settle in, but it's still beautiful, and there's some amazing trees on this hike from Cabañas to Pendas, I believe. And so yeah, just a lovely walk in the morning, and glad to have you along. And Santo Toribio awaits, the goal of the Camino Lebaniego. So we just dropped down through Pendas, and it had a quesadilla, a cheese shop, which unfortunately was not open because I love cheese. So that would have been a great little treat to have it be open, but it wasn't. So we're down now in the valley, the Rio Deva Valley, and next stop I think is going to be Potes, which they say is one of the most beautiful villages in all of Spain. So we shall see. So we just walked through Potes and resupplied at a supermarket, and here's my take on it. There are a lot of tourist shops, a lot of restaurants, a lot of hotels, a lot of cars, a lot of motorcycles, a lot of people. I think way more than that town is able to support and still retain its charm. That's my impression of it. But we are up on our way now to Santo Toribio, to the monastery for Mass, hopefully. And it's a beautiful walk up from Potes. It's steep, pretty steep, but it's a beautiful walk and nice quiet they have a little pedestrian path next to a fairly quiet little road. And so very much looking forward to that. And there's some great views of the Picos de Europa too. Take a look. So we made it to Santo Toribio, and we made it in time for the Mass, which was cool. It's a beautiful monastery, and at the end of the Mass, they let us touch what they say is the largest piece of the true cross in the world. So the largest piece of the cross that Jesus was crucified on. I don't know if it actually is that, but it does have provenance back to the 5th century. So that's pretty cool in and of itself. And so for the rest of the day, that's the end of the Camino Lebaniego at the monastery. But we're continuing into the Picos de Europa. So the rest of the day is kind of a transitional day. We're on a Camino called the Camino Vediniense. I haven't seen any actual signs to that effect, but it's marked with yellow arrows, the same kind of markings that are used for the Camino Frances. And if you continue on the Camino Vediniense, it connects up with the regular Camino Frances route in Mansilla de las Mulas, which is about a day before León. But we're not going to be staying on it that long. We'll be on it for the rest of the afternoon, and then cutting across and starting to head up into the Picos. So very exciting. The mountains look amazing, so I can't wait to do that. But the Camino Lebaniego, wonderful trail, wonderful pilgrimage route. I mean, it could, I think, easily be done from the beginning in 3 days, 3 or 4 days. and I would highly recommend it. Very, very cool if you're a little bit short on time. After hiking through several small towns on the Camino Vidiniense, we got to Mogrovejo, and that is our turnoff to head up into the Picos de Europa National Park. So we're on PR 22. PR I think stands for Pequeño Recorrido, so like a small trail, not a long distance trail. And we're headed up to meet up with a longer trail called the GR 202. Not very catchy names, but I guess that's the way they do it in the mountains or in the national park anyway. And so yeah, I could really recommend the Camino Vidiniense as well. It was, once we left Potes, all the towns were very small. It was very pretty, very, very untouristed. Yeah, quite lovely. So, and Mogrovejo especially seemed like a great little town. Little bars, little cafes. So yeah, seemed really good. Well, the hike into the Picos de Europa has been really lovely so far. It's been mostly forested, but we found a campsite just outside of the park boundary, and it's got this great view up on the ridge, and we're camped just below that in some trees. A lovely, quiet little spot, just the kind we like the best. And tomorrow's going to be exciting because we're going up into the Picos, into the big mountains. So a lot to look forward to. Take care. God bless.